What's going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. And in today's video, we're gonna have to be discussing, some things, man. There's got some really cool stuff. We got some new limit break expansions, which I'm not really gonna touch up on, really, but, you know, just to show you guys, these characters are getting limit break expansions. Now, the only thing that's really important about these limit break pluses moving forward is what Rumble characters that they do. The ones have decided to go with this time. Kobe is kind of whatever. Ohm is a decent character for sure and might be worthwhile, to be honest. I mean, it's not a bad unit to use on an int team specifically. I think the groggy monsters are definitely the highlight in terms of the characters from Limit Break Plus here, but doesn't really see that much play, but not a terrible unit overall, to be honest. But that's not what I want to talk about. We're going to be talking about level limit breaks here. I saw this and I was kind of dumbfounded that they're actually doing this, but we're receiving level limit breaks for past treasure map characters as well as Pirate Rumble rare recruits. So that's so cool. I love that they're doing that, allowing these units that are, obviously free to play with treasure map, but then you've got these Rumble units too, to provide them with some buffs to make them somewhat usable moving forward. I think that this is a great thing, and they should have been doing it, you know, obviously for quite a long time they should have been doing it, but at least they're moving forward with it. So it looks like they're starting off with the first 4 treasure map units, and it means that if you don't have them at level limit break 5, you need to purchase some copies of these units to get them to level limit break 5 to receive their best buffs. So that's what we're going to be talking about here. Let's start off with Dracul Mihawk, the very first treasure map character to ever debut. Let's go ahead and break down what he does. So at max level limit break, let's move on to his captain ability. So for slashes, they receive -1 cooldown at the start of the quest. They receive 4.25 times attack, 1.3 HP, quick recovery and tandem slots are beneficial, and then boosts slasher characters for first class only attack by a further 1.25 times during the turns that you activate his special ability. So this is very similar to what he already did, but the multipliers are just basically higher. But the fact that, you know, he only gives slashers the further buff if the slasher class is the first class on their list. Like, for example, like if we go to like Whitebeard, for example, you see how his classes say Striker and Powerhouse. The first class on his list is Striker. So it means that, you know, Mihawk only provides the big buffs to those units, just going to multiply that. So if you use his special, Mihawk gives a 5.3 times captain to slashes. That's pretty good. That's a lot of damage that he's providing. And it's just a good free-to-play captain overall. Not too terrible. Let's move on to his special, though. So he does 150 times his attack and typeless damage to all enemies, so it's a damage dealing special, which is good. He reduces barriers by 2 turns, that's kind of big. And then if the captain is slasher, he gives the crew a 3.25 chain lock for 2 turns, and gives slashers a 2.25 all boost for 2 turns. It's a very good special, but, I mean, to be honest, I don't really know if this guy's even going to see any play, but at least if you are running slashers for whatever reason, and you need a really strong unit, this unit will give you a lot of damage when you launch that special. Crewmate ability gives quick slots matching to slashes. That's a pretty good crewmate ability to have. But, you know, the base unit itself on paper was fine, but it's the fact that, you know, mono slasher isn't just a very common team to use nowadays. Unless if they really focus on boosting slashes for a certain piece of content, there isn't really too much reason to go back to these old units. But still, that's actually not a terrible special. The next one on the list is going to be Edward Newgate Whitebeard. So I'm really excited to jump into this one. So his captain ability now, with limit break level 5, then he reduces crew's cooldown by 1, HP by 1.5, and then boosts the crew's attack by up to 5.5 times when more HP is low, minimum 2 times. So what this basically means, if you're at full HP, it's 2 times attack. If you're at 1 HP, it's 5.5 times attack. That's pretty absurd, actually. The fact that you can receive a multiplier of 5.5 on a free-to-play unit. Of course, it does require you to reduce your HP in order to receive that. But for a free-to-play captain, that's pretty goddamn good, yo. Let's move on, though. His special cuts the crew's HP by 50%. That's nice. Changes all slots, including block, into int. Boosts the type effects of normal attacks, or color affinity, of Striker and Powerhouse by 1.5 for 1 turn. And it's an overwritable color affinity. I like that. And then he does 150 times his attack and typeless damage to all enemies, ignoring all defensive effects. And if the enemy has an immunity to delay or all status effects, doubles the crew's slot effects for 1 turn, pretty typical. And if the enemy has a barrier, boosts the crew's attack by 2.5 times. That's a big difference, because previously he didn't do color affinity, he didn't cut the crew's HP, and he would only change his own slot into matching. And I believe, you know, he still did a 2 times orb boost if the enemy had the delay effect, it had an immunity or a delay immunity. But then before, he would give only himself, I think it was a 2 times attack boost if the enemy had a barrier. But now he gives all characters a 2.5 times attack boost if they have a barrier. So there's going to be some very niche circumstances where this Whitebeard character is going to be an absolute beast, providing color affinity, attack boost, and orb boost with 1 special and a full board of int slots too. Obviously, it is dependent on what the enemy does, but as I said, you know, niche scenarios, this Whitebeard is going to be an absolute beast. So next we move on to Treasure Map Ace. When this guy came out, he was widely considered to be the best free-to-play character in the game. Really good synergy with like version 1 of Kainu, and you can just do really cool stuff with this guy. So let's go ahead and break down what he does now. So Ace, with his captain, is going to state that if you have Strength, Quick, and Psi characters on the crew, you boost Strength, Quick, and Psi HP and Recovery by 1.35, that's very good. Boost the attack by 5.25 if they have a Strength slot, 4.25 times otherwise, and if you tap on this character with a Strength slot, he will boost damage dealt to ignited enemies by 1.5, so that's cool. They're doing this a lot with the Ace, Akainu, Sabo characters recently, where they have this Ignite conditional effect going on. It seems really cool, obviously, but you have to have an ability to actually ignite the enemy. So moving on to that special, changes all slots including block into Strength, applies ignited status to all enemies for 1 turn, so obviously doesn't go through immunity buffs. Bit of an issue there, so against high-end content this is going to be really bad, but against you know, mid or low tier content this special is going to be strong. And then he reduces the crew's chain lock and chain coefficient reduction effect by 5 turns. So that can be a good thing, but it means that if you have like a really good chain boundary or a really good chain lock, that he actually removes it. So you have to be careful in terms of the order of operations of your specials. And then he also boosts Strength, Quick, and Psi characters attack by 2.25 for 2 turns. And if you have a Free Spirit captain, then your Strength, Quick, and Psi characters' strength slots will be beneficial for 2 turns. Yeah, it seems pretty good though. Like, all things considered, when you have this character like all built in one as a captain, a really strong 5.25 times attack, good HP and recovery boost, you can't disregard that recovery boost. So if you pick up a recovery slot, you're actually going to be healing for a pretty good amount. And then, you know, you get a special that allows you to get that conditional boost from his captain, and then also be able to provide an attack boost and then just make those strength slots beneficial. So there's lots to like about this Ace character. He also makes Psi slots beneficial if you end up using him as a sub. He seems pretty good for sure. I think so far though, Whitebeard is definitely the best unit. And then the final character in terms of the free-to-play treasure map units is going to be Cavendish. So his level limit break captain boosts driven characters attack by 4.5 with 1.2 times HP and heals 2 times the character's recovery at the end of the turn, so it seems pretty decent so far. And then if characters of the same type land 3 good or better strikes in a row, boosts driven characters attack by a further 1.25 times. This is very interesting. So essentially the way that it works is you need to have a full driven team, but you need to have 3 of your 6 characters need to be of the same type. So that does make things a little wonky. It means that the first 3 characters attack for 4.5 times, but then after that, as long as you're attacking with the 3 characters of the same type, so hypothetically with Cavendish, him being a Psi unit, if you have 2 more Psi-driven characters on your team, you attack with those units first, and then after that, you'll get the 4.5 times multiplier from the base captain, multiplied by the additional multiplier, equating to a 5.4 times multiplier. So for a free-to-play captain, it's a lot. It's a lot of damage you can achieve, but it's just very difficult to build for. The special removes all beneficial effects, and then middle row characters' special charge time are reduced by 2 turns. That's very specific. And then sets enemies' defense to 0 for 1 turn, which is good. Heals 12,024 HP, which obviously the significance of being like Christmas Eve, which was when this character first debuted on Japan. And then also changes block and unfavorable slot into matching, and then driven characters receive a 2.25 attack and orb boost for 1 turn. I mean, it seems pretty good. It's just a buffed version of the original Cavendish that we got. I don't really see too many issues with this unit. It's just a better version of Cavendish, right? If they just re-release Cavendish in 2023, this is what he would be like. I don't really see any issues. I just don't think this character is going to see that much play. The Whitebeard character so far out of these treasure map units is just so insane. I absolutely love what they've done with this unit. He seems absolutely bonkers. But we also have a brand new level limit break for Pirate Rumble Rare Recruit Calgara Noland. So I'm really excited about this one. So before we do that, I actually want to break down what they do initially. So for the first 40 seconds, they give themselves an attack buff. And then when there's less than 40 seconds left, they give themselves level 6 attack, level 6 CT, level 6 speed. Okay, so we understand how that works. And then a 15 cooldown, which is so low, targets themselves for 7 attack, 7 speed, and then one character is dealt 2.5 times damage. When this character first came out, he was definitely one of the better Rumble Rare recruits, being able to just come on off the bench and just single target nuke very quickly on a 15 CT was very good. So let's go ahead and break down what he does with level limit break. So the Rumble ability now, for the first 40 seconds, they give themselves level 5 attack and int enemies defense down level 6. That's a big change. This actually might make people want to use them on the front line just to enable some of your characters to deal more damage versus int from the get-go. That seems pretty good actually. And then also, when time remaining is less than 40 seconds, they give themselves 6 attack, 6 CT, 6 speed. So they just kind of buffed the numbers, but the added effect of int defense down is a really big change. That's actually really good for the unit. Moving on to the Rumble Special. The Rumble Special gives themselves 7 attack, 7 speed, and that's for 35 seconds too. That's crazy. So the fact that their CT is only 15 seconds, you can actually cycle through this very quickly. So you can actually get a bunch of buffs stacked on this unit simultaneously. So this actually seems honestly really good. So for 35 seconds, attack 7, speed 7, and then 2.75 times damage to a single target, and then targets 2 high defense int enemies for 2,500 fixed damage. Yeah, this seems really good. It's just a straight up buff to the original unit, which is what we expect, I guess. And the unit's actually really good. I like what they've done. And also completely evading action bind. I don't know, even if you're going up against an int team, int don't typically do action bind that much. They've got a lot of half stats. They have some special bind, but action bind isn't as common. So I don't know if that's going to be super good. But also 35 damage reduction versus int is not bad either. Calgara Noland seems pretty good, and the fact that they also have a limit break expansion gives them further statistical increases, so I like what they're doing so far. And then finally, we have the CP0 Kaku character, so let's go ahead and break this one down. Before we actually do that though, let's actually talk about the original unit. So strength HP 5, and then for the first 40 seconds, dex enemies, CT down 6, defense down 2. So very good versus dex on a strength team. And then his Rumble Special, 25 CT, horizontal medium range, 2.2 damage, and then dex enemies, defense down level 5. So again, just a very anti-dex focused Rumble Rare recruit. So let's see what they've done to make him even better. So the Rumble ability, strength HP 5, speed 5, so that's been added, and then for the first 40 seconds, you get CT down level 6 and defense down level 5 versus dex. So the defense down has been increased, and then you get speed for strength. So just, again, straight up buffs for your strength teams. And then the Rumble Special, you do a medium horizontal range 2.65 times damage, so that has been buffed, and then targets dex enemies for defense down level 6, and for the first 40 seconds of the battle, target 1 high current HP dex enemy for 2.3 times damage. So wow, he again just anti-dex, very anti-dex, and I like the fact that he does damage initially, then defense down, and then if it's in the first 40 seconds, he does the initial hit again. So he can do defense down and then do that second hit, which is cool, so you're able to get the most out of the special, really. If the defense down happened first, then he did his, all the damage, would have been even better. But despite all that, I think he's still not a bad unit that we'll probably see play on mono strength if you end up going up against a dex team. There are actually quite a lot of ways you can deal with dex nowadays though. And then you have his resistances. He completely evades paralysis, which is not a very common debuff when you're going up against dex, for example, but then also get some damage reduction. So overall, I like what they're doing. You know, there's no real game-breaking level limit breaks here. Aside from the Whitebeard has a lot of potential for sure, and Ace has some really nice effects with that conditional boost stuff. But I like what they're doing, and I'm really looking forward to them releasing more free-to-play level limit breaks. Would love to see level limit breaks for old rare recruits. That's what I would love to see the most, honestly. But I do like the fact that they're going to these older units, giving them some buffs to make them a little bit more usable in today's day and age. But let me know your thoughts and opinions about the new batch of level limit breaks down below in the comment section. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed the video today, and if you guys did, make sure to go ahead and leave a like, and if you want to stay up to date with all the content that I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. And that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.